We are live. NFL Week 15 preview already kicked off with one very exciting game as the Falcons beat the Bucs 29-28. A lot of tempers were flaring at the end of that game, but Marcus, we have to preview the rest of Week 15. 15 games to dive into today. How are we doing in this fine Friday afternoon?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's been a week of questioning life decisions after, as you guys know, I moved back home to Minnesota from Charlotte over the last year, and man, rough year to move back. We already it's not even 2 weeks to Christmas yet, and it's supposed to be -30 wind chill this weekend, and I already have just about 2 feet of snow piled up outside of my driveway at this point. So yeah, things are going real great out here, but the football is good. Last night was super fun. I wasn't expecting a fun game last night, but it was a thriller, man. Kirko's back, huh?
He is.
Future Vikings quarterback, future and past. Is this like the ghost of quarterbacks past and present?
Bigger plans, bigger plans. We'll get to it. But no, I mean, -30 wind chill, brother, that you couldn't pay me. There's no chance. Anyway, do you want to dive into one of the best games of the week? We'll start off Jets, rather. It's in Jacksonville. The Jags are 13.5-point favorites, and we have Brady Cook starting. Adrian Martinez is a backup for the Jets. I'm going to keep this quick here. Let's just, the over-under is 41.5. I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's going to get to 41.5. I think the final is going to be something along the lines of like 27-10, somewhere in there. The biggest thing for the Jags, got to continue to take care of business. And the big thing that I wrote down here for the Jags is, under no circumstance, you've done a lot of things right this year. Do not take a step back here and, lose. Don't have Jekyll and Trevor. We've talked about it. Just take care of business. Liam Cohen, just keep the ship staying afloat, if you will. This absolutely, under no circumstance, can be a look ahead to Denver in Week 16, because that is obviously a huge game pertaining to the Jags' chances of winning the AFC South. There's a lot of people right now that think the Texans are going to win out, the Jags are going to lose in Denver in Week 16, and then the Texans are going to steal the division. Take care of business, one game at a time, 4 quarters at a time. Jets fans, what you're looking for a better tomorrow is probably going to happen in this game. I'll kind of just leave it at
that. Yeah, I'm kind of buying back into the Jags just because the passing game has been a lot more consistent the last couple of weeks. So just looking for a continuation of that. And I agree with what you said. And man, Brady Cook, they didn't get a third down conversion in that game. And that was including a little bit of Tyrod Taylor at the beginning. They didn't get a third down conversion until like 5 minutes left in the game, where it's just true prevent defense from the Dolphins. This offense feels like it has reached a new rock bottom, which is saying something for this Jets team. So 13.5, I kind of like it for the Jags, but let's go to, we're going to get the bad games out of the way. Just wipe the slate clean.
There's some games this week. There are some games this week.
Washington at the New York Giants. Jaden Daniels not going to play this week. Why they tried him last week is a question to begin with. This one's really mostly about draft positioning between two divisional rivals here. I mean, the Commanders, I think if you're a Commanders fan, you definitely want to lose this game, especially because you don't have that second round pick. That's got to go to Houston, which hurts more and more every week. But if you are able to lose this, you would presumably jump into that top 3 or so, just kind of eyeing where it's listed right now. They're listed at 4th right now on ESPN for draft positioning. I don't know if that includes tiebreakers and all that stuff, but obviously the Giants have one more loss than you. And if you can get in the top 3, I think if you're Washington, you're like, man, we might be in a position to get a haul in a trade down, which is a dream for the Commanders, given how many needs they have. And that's really all you're caring about if you're Washington here, is take care of business and lose this game. And what you don't want is the interdivision Giants, who honestly have some pieces to build around here. You don't want them to secure maybe the number 1 pick in, I haven't looked at the Giants schedule, but got to think this is one of their most winnable games remaining. So that's really what this game is all about. I think if the Giants were to win, one fun takeaway from the remainder of the season could be feeling even better about Jackson Dart, would be ideal, just in a final month of the season stretch here. You get to play this Commanders defense that made JJ McCarthy look capable last week. So that could be a fun takeaway from this one for the Giants. But I do think the Giants win. I just think they are honestly like a decent bit better than the Commanders right now. And I think we saw that little hoorah night on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football against Denver, where they didn't want to make an ass of themselves, and then very quickly went back to like, yeah, when we're not playing balls to the wall, we don't really have a whole lot to work with here. Especially, I mean, Marcus Mariota isn't even really playing well like he did last year. So, what
is the spread for this game? Just quit it. Is it
good
6?
question? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I didn't put the graphic up.
If I had to guess, I'd say like 5.5.
It's actually just 2.5. 2.5 for the Giants. Okay. Yeah.
No, I mean, look, I'll say this. Worst case for the Giants. I mean, right now they have the number 1 pick. They play the Commanders and Raiders in 2 of their final 4 games. That's not good. They got
to play the Raiders too. They're going to screw this up just like they did when they
last year with
when
Cam
they
Ward.
Missed out on Drake May. Yeah,
well, that as well. Sorry. That was bad Cam Ward part. Jackson Dart, like him, love his game. Let's just clear the air on that. But I think
I think 2 years they've won meaningless games.
They won a game last year
out on the quarterback.
Exactly. I think the Giants are going to win. I'm going to be honest. This is I want to say one thing here. I'm not just I did talk about this a little bit this week, but I'm not just, hey, a team is bad, let's just fire the head coach. But I think there's a conversation to be had if the Commanders look as lifeless as they do over the final 4 games, that Dan Quinn's seat could be warm. Because if they do finish the year, if they finish the year 3-14, they would finish the year on 12 straight losses, and their final 4 games are all division games. And I mean, if you go out, you get beat by 31 points to JJ McCarthy, and then you follow that up by getting beat, 27-3 against the Giants, I feel like conversations should be had. So kind of in some ways for the Commanders, I feel like it's a little bit of a test in that regard, but I'm going to go with the Giants to win. Yeah.
Okay. Where are you going next?
We got another thriller. I mean, there's a lot of thrillers on the schedule this week. Cardinals at Texans. Now I will say that this is actually the Texans being favored by 10. I saw it was bumped up to 10 a couple of hours ago. I'm going to be honest. I'm pretty surprised by that. The Texans offense it's painful to watch at times. The offensive line it's very questionable. And last week within the Chiefs game, the Chiefs went for it on 4th and 1 with 10 minutes to play. The Texans obviously capitalized on a short field. Travis Kelce dropped the ball, interception. Again, they capitalized on a short field. But other than that, I mean, it was a punt fest back and forth. It was the Texans had, I want to say, 8 total second half drives, which is insane to begin with. 2 of those were, like I said, off of the turnover on downs and then off of the interception. The other 6 drives they had were punts, 5 of which I want to say were 3-and-outs. So the fact that the Texans are 10-point favorites is crazy to me. And I also, personally, I do write down the over-under for every game. When I wrote it down today, it was 42.5. I'm going to be honest, I'd be surprised if there's even close to this. I think something along the lines of 20-14, 17-14. This is, to me, has all the writings of a low-scoring game. And I will also be honest, I really love the Cardinals to cover in this game. Now, they don't have Marvin Harrison Jr., and obviously you have to factor in how good the Texans defense is because they swarm to the ball. But I feel like the Texans offense isn't good enough to justify a 10-point spread unless you're basing it off of or banking on the fact that the Cardinals are going to turn the ball over 3 or 4 times, which could happen. I just don't trust this specific Texans team to win with how shaky their offense has been. And weirdly enough, we talk about whenever we talk about guys stepping up in the postseason, CJ Stroud over the past couple of years, I know he's obviously a very good player and he should get more credit than he does. But CJ's kind of the opposite, where he kind of tunes it up in the postseason versus getting through the regular season. But look, I think Cardinals cover, Texans win, low scoring. Wouldn't be surprised if either team doesn't get to 20 points.
I couldn't disagree with you more, to be honest.
Really? All right.
I think this is going to be a blowout. I think Paris Johnson Jr. is out for the season for Arizona. Jacoby Brissett's been a fumble fest when he's been under pressure this year. No Marvin Harrison, no run game. I don't see a whole lot of drives getting put together for Arizona, with Houston playing the way they are defensively in their own house, with that crowd, that pass rush behind them. And I know the Texans offense struggled a lot last week. I'm not here to say that the Texans offense is anything close to even like top 20 in the league, but I do think you were looking at a prime time Sunday night game in Arrowhead. Chris Jones gave it everything he had to save. Like, full credit to Chris Jones last week. Like, he hasn't had the best year, but when they needed him and that defense to step up, he did his part. The Chiefs offense couldn't do theirs against this defense that did beat the Chiefs by 10 points last week, by the way. So I think this is going to be plenty of like you said, the Texans have had so many opportunities and they haven't executed. I don't look at the Cardinals defense and think they have what it takes, like the Chiefs defense did. And that was also Spags cooking up a playoff, caliber game plan with the blitzes and all that stuff. I don't see that type of effort from this Cardinals team that's just lost at sea right now. I think this is 30-6, potential for multiple defensive touchdowns. I think Houston keeps rolling in this one.
I'm looking real quick as you were going. I'm looking on the on one of the apps just to see what the Cardinals like team total is. I can't find it. I'll get back to it, but to me, this is one of the easiest. Like, Houston should win. Literally every sign is pointing to Houston winning, but I just worry about them actually putting up the points.
Yeah. Also, by the way, shout out Jalen Petrie, dude. He's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just say that? He has turned into such a good player. He had an up and down start to his career, but he has really figured it out. Oh my God.
By the way, the Cardinals total points, I found it. It is 16.5 over under.
Oh yeah. That's not right to me. Unless it's like pure garbage time. Like Texans pull their starters in the third quarter.
The Raiders covered last week.
Yeah. But pretty much everyone covers against Denver. All right. Let's go to Cleveland at Chicago. Bears, have a fun opportunity this week because Green Bay has to go to Denver this week. And we'll talk about that game, obviously. But there's a very real opportunity for Chicago to get first place back this week with a win here at home against a bad Browns team. And then host Green Bay again next Saturday for first place in the division again. So things in the NFC North are very fun for 3 fan bases. But I don't know if it was that comment that made him walk off the screen or not, but
no, that's all. You'll like it. It pertains to this game. You'll like it.
But this is definitely a week where the Bears have to be careful. I think being sandwiched by those 2 Packers games, they're going to be very focused on those games internally. We know what this Cleveland defense is capable of on a good day, and it is specifically that Bears left tackle spot that's given them fits, and that's where Myles Garrett rushes off of. I thought it was interesting that the Packers, obviously they had a lot of defensive success, but they didn't really test that left tackle spot with Micah Parsons. It was a lot of other guys go beat the left tackle, and let's see if Micah can take advantage of Darnell Wright. Some teams, it's always an interesting strategy to me. Like, where do you put your best pass rusher on the bad guy, or how do you want to play that matchup, basically? But clearly, the Bears are going to get Myles Garrett against either Theo Benedet or Trapillo, the rookie left tackle.
Yes, the second round pick from Boston College.
And Cleveland's had a very good run defense this year. For the most part, they've really impressed there, especially earlier in the year. But I don't think they're going to make life easy for this Bears offense. I think we see something similar to what we saw last week against the Packers defense, where you kind of need to ground and pound this thing out and lean on the Browns defense and hope that the run game opens up in the second half. But I could see this being like 6-6 at halftime, and then maybe the Bears can open things up, or maybe the Browns let them hang around. And Shedeur, going against a Bears defense that, when they're not getting turnovers, I think is, a movable force, if you will. I don't love the secondary. Kyler Gordon looks like he's going to be done for the year. And the pass rush, I don't think really has the horses to take advantage of a questionable Bears offensive line. So I can see a world here where Shedeur comes in and continues to look good. He really was everything that the draft write-up I think would say on Shedeur, where you're going to get some sloppy mistakes in there. You're going to get him running around maybe a little bit too much on a negative side of things, but you're also going to get some plays out of structure from him. And you're going to get a few throws a game where it's just like, man, he put that thing in the perfect spot, whether it's the deep post to Jerry Jeudy, where he doesn't just, Shedeur is interesting because his general accuracy isn't perfect. He actually misses a lot of throws, but man, when he hits, it is like keyhole perfect throws. So he hits Jerry Jeudy on like a 25-yard post, and it's when you're throwing to Jerry Jeudy, you kind of have to put it right on him because the dude can't catch anything, and he puts it right in there. Jeudy doesn't have to break stride at all. He outruns the defense. Love that. He had multiple just beautiful touch passes in the red zone. I think I wrote down another like nice touch back shoulder pass up the seam in there. There was the whole Shedeur write-up was on display against the Titans. I think those throws are going to be there again this week. So Bears got to be careful. They are the better team. And the Cleveland has been that team that even if you think on paper they have a chance to keep a game close, their special teams has been a disaster this year. You could get Devin Duvernay returns in this game, that type of stuff, bad penalties. They're just an undisciplined, bad football team, even if they have talent to like. So you got to go Chicago here, but I definitely think, be careful. I think Chicago could let this one, if they get ahead and, Cleveland loses their energy with the run defense, Chicago could get ahead. But if Cleveland hangs around, I think they have a chance to pull the upset here too.
All right, so there's two things I have to say. One, I feel like I have to get an obligatory good, better, best in there for the Bears. Number two, what I got was I had to get the for Shedeur, had to get the watch. That was what I went to get was had to look. There are two players in NFL history in their third start to have 364 yards. I want to say in 3 touchdowns. Did you see the stat?
No.
Shedeur Sanders last week, I don't know about the 3 touchdowns part, but I know it was exactly 364 yards. And it was Shedeur last week. The other player, you might have heard of him. He's minority owner for the Raiders, Tom Brady. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Shedeur, man. we have the watches up, and very good opportunity for the Browns to attack a thin Bears secondary. Ultimately, I am going to go with the Bears to win, but this is one game that I looked at the over-under early in this week, and it's right around 40. And this was one where I circled. I was like, I absolutely love the over in this game.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things that I really like spread-wise / over-under-wise this week. I'm all on the over for this game. Absolutely love it. And I really hope that hopefully that, let me put the watch back on one more time. Hopefully we get Shedeur like another good game. There's a lot of watch comments right now, but I'm going to go with Bears to win, Browns cover.
Also, LOL, we were talking about the over under for the Titans Browns game last week at like 31 and a half or whatever it was. And there was like 70 combined points.
All we need to do is bring up the hits, bring up the ones that we, just bring up the hits. I do have a couple super chats real quick that I want to get to, which I appreciate. Sure. Master Muller said, I saw an NFL channel mention Burrow in a possible trade a couple days after you first streamed it, one step ahead. That's, we'll get to that later. Just saying. And then I had somebody say that they're number 1 on the YouTube replay. Appreciate it. And then Doug just wanted to comment Duval for support of the Jags, which we both think the Jags are going to roll this week. Obviously. Is Monty in the super chats yet?
Monty's probably sitting there waiting. Big matchup this week. I would imagine
Monty's locked in.
Is hiding in the shadows.
Locked in.
Preparing his perfect analysis.
All right. Let's go Raiders Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's I've seen a lot of Eagles fans, and I'm not saying that you guys don't have the justified right to question why the spread's 11.5. Obviously, we all watched that game on Monday, but I really don't think people understand how bad the Raiders are. And the last time the Raiders beat the Eagles in Philly, the link did not exist. It was at the old stadium. The link was built after that. They last beat him in 2001. Kenny Pickett is starting. We have Vic Fangio versus Kenny Pickett. And the one thing that I have written down here for the Raiders is you have Max Crosby against Fred Johnson. That's, chip them, double, triple team them, whatever you got to do. just take Max Crosby out of the game. That is the absolute biggest thing. You cannot have him in Jalen Hurts' face all day. That's by far the biggest thing. Another thing is how will the Eagles respond to obviously the poor game on Monday night, and the Eagles defense is playing a bad offensive line. We do have a Raiders video coming out tomorrow, and I don't think there's any chance the Raiders win this game on the road. Just being completely honest. And regarding Brock Bowers, I wrote down Cooper DeJean, wonderful job on Ladd McConkey last week. I don't know if you want to go Cooper DeJean on Brock Bowers this week, how you want to go about that, but that is something I will be paying attention to, is how Fangio chooses to attack Brock Bowers, because I think with how dominant the Eagles' defensive line is, how I think they're going to be able to control gaps up front, I think it's going to be a long day for Ashton Genty, and he is one of the top 2 backs in the NFL this year to have the most, or he's one of the top 2 backs in the NFL to have the most 0 or negative yard runs in the NFL this year, which is a good indictment on how bad the Raiders' offensive line has been. The only thing I question is how many points are the Eagles' offense going to put up, because I really think 14 will be enough to win this game. Are they going to win 14-10? Are they going to win 24-10? If I can say anything, I would not touch the spread on this game, but I do like the under at 38.5.
Yeah, I think this is a game for the Eagles. You got a month left in the season. It's kind of time to get their act together. I think they look at the way Hurts has been playing lately and look back at what worked for this team last year. I mean, let's be honest, like last year it was 20 to 22 pass attempts a game for Jalen Hurts. That was how they were as good as they were. And it was leaning on the run game. The last 3 weeks, Jalen Hurts 40, 34, 39 pass attempts. That's just not how you win with this football team. I think against this Raiders defense that is just putrid against the run, I think this is a short time of, I don't even know how to say that. I think this is the first game that's over, if you will, in their slate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the clock's going to be running. I think we get a bunch of rushing attempts. I was also thinking about this, like, what happened to, is Tank Bigsby been hurt?
I just don't think he's been playing. It's just the whole thing.
He got a carry last week.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, they haven't been playing him like as much as they probably should be. Yeah, because I do remember the carry that he had.
Yeah, that's weird to me. Like, obviously, like, I just feel like this team should just be running the ball, get a nice, 75-25 split going. I thought Tank has looked pretty solid as an Eagle, and then they just stopped using him. You keep things moving on the ground there. So I would expect that, they've kind of tried this whole passing thing, but I think it's kind of put up or shut up time, pound the ball. I think they have a lot of success with it. The only other note I had was Colton Miller is back for the Raiders. I'm fascinated by Kenny Pickett stepping in here against his old team. I don't think it leads to a lot of success, but at least something new here for the Raiders. And I do think, getting Colton Miller back in there. I like the clip you showed too about Caleb Rogers. Can the offensive line, can the offensive line play a little bit better? It's a tough week to do that against the Eagles, who I presume are going to get Jalen Carter back. They
do. Yep.
Yeah. That's a big deal. And the D-line played great last week against the Chargers. So it's just something to keep an eye on if the Raiders offensive line can function. I do still like the playmakers that they have here. Would love to see Ginty get going, feel a little bit better about him heading into next year. But yeah, it's got to be Eagles here. I will say, if the Eagles lose this, it's going to be so funny, but it's not going to happen. So
no, they got it. I mean, and also the way you said they've tried the passing thing was outrageous, but it's, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Also, by the way, I wanted to mention Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett. I just wanted to mention that.
That's right. All right. I think that's all the bad games on my end.
I have one more.
Let's get it out of the way. Well, let's wash our hands.
Well, the thing is we have to go to 4 back to 1, but we'll get the 4 o'clock slate. We'll just go ahead and knock it out. By the way, I have a new member. Appreciate it. I'm not going to say the member's name, but anyway, I appreciate the new member. But we have Titans 49ers. Let's just knock this baby out here. This is a game. The Titans/Oilers, they have won twice in San Francisco since 1975. They won Marcus, you were born in what year? 92, 3?
94.
No, 94. Never mind. So you weren't even alive for this game. They won in San Francisco on Christmas Day in 1993. I did find that in my research for this game. Just, wanted to point it out. Best case scenario, Cam Ward looks good. And they continued the run game. The run game looked really good last week. The one run Tony Pollard had last week was really aesthetically pleasing is the way that I would describe that run. The 49ers are coming off their bye. They've won 3 in a row, 4 out of their last 5. The biggest thing for the 49ers here, I mean, aside from the obvious as to why I'm taking the 49ers to win, is their remaining schedule is, after this, of course, at Indy, home against the Bears, home against the Seahawks. You, under no circumstance can you afford to drop this game. You're at home. You're coming off a bye. You're playing a team that's going to finish with a top 5 draft pick that fired their head coach 2 months ago. Take care of business. Like I said, the best case scenario for the Titans, Cam Ward looks good. You keep the game competitive. You cover the spread. You drop another game. You have a better draft pick. And hopefully we see some more rookie-to-rookie action. Chimere Dike, that has not been getting as much national recognition as Titans fans would like, the all-purpose yards. So let's just, 49ers, they'll take care of business. They're not going to drop this game coming off the bye. And yes.
Yeah, I don't have anything on this one. Take care of business. All right. Now we have Chargers, Chiefs. It is officially playoff time for the Chiefs. They technically made the playoffs because their rest of their season, the playoffs have begun. Now, even if they win out, they still don't have a great chance of getting in. But this is definitely the last opportunity for them to go all out. And like I said, I thought the defense and Chris Jones really stepped up last week. I do look at the way the defense played last week, and if they want to repeat that effort here against a division opponent who they're going to have to catch if they have any chance really of making the playoffs, I do think that defense has a really good chance at repeating what we saw with this Chargers offense against the Eagles defense last week, making them really uncomfortable. Herbert's going through it right now. He just had surgery a week ago. His offensive line's an absolute disaster. There's been multiple close to historic pressure rate games that he's had to deal with. We have seen him really get flustered in the pocket, and I can't blame him for it. It's just an observation that it's happening and it's impacting their offense right now, where it's the same thing we've seen at times with Patrick Mahomes behind bad offensive lines too, by the way, but it's a self-compounding effect where not only are there dropbacks where you're obviously getting pressured, you're getting sacked, you're getting drive-stopping plays from the defense, but then you also have when the offensive line is winning and they are buying time and you do have a clean pocket, you have Herbert looking at the rush and getting uncomfortable back there, ruining perfectly reasonable dropbacks. And that's really impacting his play right now. We've also seen a run over the last month or so of him making some questionable decisions. I think he's in his head right now and not playing his game. He's very much trying to save this offense right now. And it's not fair for him to have to do that behind this offensive line, but it's the reality of what we're seeing. So I do worry, as long as the Chiefs defense does show up with energy, knowing they do still have a chance. If they lose this one, we might see this team just kind of give up on the year. But, I think there's a reason the Chiefs are favored by 5.5. I think defensively they should give them fits. Now for the Chargers defense going against Mahomes in this one, obviously the Chiefs offense has struggled. I don't think they're horrible on that side of the ball. I don't. I think as long as they execute a quick passing game and lean into the run, that's what the Chargers kind of invite you to do. But the Chiefs have at many points in the season and over the last few years kind of gotten their own way and not run the offense that they really should, which is just run the ball up the middle, take these quick passes. So I am going to take the Chiefs to win this one and kind of keep their season alive. I know the Chargers won last week, but I just really wasn't all that impressed by the Chargers. It was honestly just the Eagles giving that game away, and Jalen Hurts giving that game away, honestly. So I do think the Chiefs can win this one, but Harbaugh Chargers are frisky, the definition of frisky. So I would be impressed if they can get this one, honestly.
So I'm with you on that. And I I did tweet during the Monday night game against the Eagles that Justin Herbert did not look good in that game, but it was the fact of like he knew how bad the situation was around him, and it was very much like in some ways like high school, like all right, like let's just. It was kind of like he was playing Madden, where it's like one read, boom, and then it's like, and when you set yourself up for that, inevitably, that was also an example I feel like of just what pressure does over the course of a game, where it repeatedly gets in a guy's head. And then there's not, what are we going to say to Justin Herbert? Hey buddy, you're under pressure 70% of the time. Go make it happen. So that was such a frustrating watch. Just all around. I'm with you though. The Chiefs season is on the line. I will say this, the Chiefs play the Broncos in week 17 on Christmas night. There is a very real possibility that the Broncos can eliminate the Chiefs from the postseason on Christmas night, which is, I'm sure, what Broncos. That's just, it's a possibility. I know Broncos fans are definitely thinking
Christmas
about
for everybody.
That's no comment.
Especially Broncos fans.
There would be, Brandon Perna would be very excited about that, the idea of that. But that's one thing I did want to discuss. I think the Chiefs are going to win. I simply trust their trench play eons more than good use of the word eon. Eons more than I trust the Chargers trench play. Also, one last question. Did you by chance take a look at the Chiefs record?
I'm not going there.
All right. Are we ready for Ravens Bengals?
Yes, I am ready.
All right.
I am so ready.
We have Jimmy's.
So much so I have my Bengals cup today.
There you go. We have Jimmy's famous seafood versus Skyline Chili. So Ravens Bengals. By the way, shout out Skyline Chili. I don't know if you know what Skyline Chili is, but it's a creation. It is a creation.
Of course.
Okay, so Ravens are favored by 2.5, over under 51.5. There's a lot of notes that I wrote down for this game. For the Bengals specifically, obviously, I feel like you have to start with the Joe Burrow press conference this week. That was pretty eye-opening for everyone across the league, not just it didn't just stay in Cincinnati. And Joe is obviously a very complex, very well thought out guy. So it's not nothing. I'll just leave it at that. The Bengals are 0-3 when they put up 34 points this year. Can they repeat the turnovers they forced against Baltimore a couple of weeks ago? And how does one big thing that in all seriousness, I wrote this down, was how does this team and the coaching staff respond to Joe Burrow's press conference comments that were made this week? Because you don't just brush that off with everything that happened. It's just not Joe, we're good. We'll improve to 5-9 this week. You're good, buddy. It doesn't. That's not just like, hey, we're good. Right. You know what I mean? And then for Baltimore, I have which team shows up, and if they have any chance winning the division. Of course, I mean, you have to win out, but especially this week. And one of the reasons they have to especially win this week is they play New England on Sunday night next week. Then they go to Green Bay on a short week because they play you guys on the Saturday after Christmas. And then they play at the Steelers. So you have 3 of final 4 games on the road. Your only home game is the Patriots, who are probably going to win the AFC East, barring a complete collapse. And this is obviously a very, very good offense. So playoff game for the Ravens, who sit now with a 6-7 record. Which team is going to show up? And that's and also within the Ravens, by the way, I will say this. I don't think they're a good team. Just they are, the interior offensive line is such a problem. Daniel Falele it's bad, man. I don't know if you've specifically paid attention in the past month to the interior offensive line. It's a bad product, man. Mm-hmm. It is a bad product. I'm honestly, I'm going to go with the Bengals to win. I'm going to go with the season sweep. I'm going to go with the Bengals to win. And I got to root
Burrow's presser was just a big mirage. They're going to
look. I gotta say. This is trust tree. This does not leave this stream. Do not clip this. I got to root for my future quarterback. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Unless let's clock unless. Just I think you're probably setting yourself up for disappointment on that one, but I wish the best for you. Thank you. Yeah, I like what you said about which team shows up, because at this point I just don't know. I do think the Ravens still have everything in front of them here, and this should still be a very winnable game.
honestly, they kind of got screwed last week, if I'm being honest.
They did. They did. Good
couple of calls. I thought they battled back in that one, and the defense bunkered down after a bad start to the game. But it is kind of hard to trust anything about this team right now. The defense is quietly just really bad and could be susceptible to a huge Joe Burrow game. Joe Burrow might have fun in this game. We'll see. So it's a very tough one to predict. I agree with the spread being 2.5. I think the Ravens should be favored. I think I will pick them, but could literally go either way.
This is one of the most 50-50 games of the entire week.
Yeah, I think so. I think I have these guys. I think in my power rankings, I have all three AFC North teams are like 18, 19, 20, and the order changed this week, but it's been the second week in a row where they've just been like all three are right next to each other.
Where's my guy? Where's my guy?
What, Shedeur?
Yeah, no, where's the Browns? Are they 30, 29?
Oh,
that was a bad
something like that. I don't know.
That was bad.
They just keep moving between like 30 and 26, depending on the week. All right. Now we have Green Bay at Denver, one of the games of the week for sure. Huge game for, bigger for Green Bay than it is for Denver, but Denver has a shot at that 1 seed, which is so important. So it is huge for them. But I think just to kind of continue to see how legit these teams are in this matchup is what really matters for me. Obviously, playoff seeding is important and all that, but two teams that I think their potency. There's Monty, by the way.
Shout out Monty.
We knew you were. We knew you were hiding in the shadows, Monty. Good to see you. We'll get to your super chat here.
The legend.
But yeah, I think these are two teams that their potency has been brought into question at different points in the season. I think the Packers in recent weeks have done a good job kind of silencing that a little bit with some big wins. Jordan Love playing really good football in the last month. The defense continuing to show what they're capable of. Denver, on the other hand, they keep playing the same game every week, where I think, honestly, I think most of us would say, I just don't trust this Broncos team. Like they drag everybody into these, slugfests and just assume they're going to come out on top in the end. And they've done that this year, but hey, look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Look at the Minnesota Vikings from 2023, the Pittsburgh Steelers from years ago. The history will tell you what this Broncos team is until they prove otherwise, that they can look more convincing, throw out all the fluff, the record and all that. Just watch the tape. Do we fully trust this Broncos offense against playoff caliber teams? And here you go. You've got this Packers defense, Micah Parsons, Lucas Van Ness might be able to go this week. I think, especially with Devontae Wyatt out now for the season, that's a huge deal to get that interior pressure back into the mix, which just creates this force multiplying effect for the whole pass rush. So we'll see if he's able to give it a go. But it's just a big test for Bo Nix against this defense. I think it really does come down to the Broncos and their offense in this one and what they look like. I don't trust this run game, especially with J.K. Dobbins out. I know R.J. Harvey had some big runs against the Raiders last week, but watch anybody play that Raiders defense. It's a D2 team. The 2 weeks before that, Denver had 59 rushing yards against Kansas City, 87 against Washington, and that's not taking out Bo Nix scrambles and stuff like that either. So I think, as I've said, if you're going to beat this Packers defense, it's to run the football first and foremost. And we saw that with the Bears last week. They looked horrible on offense until the run game started to go. I just don't know if that's in the future for Denver here against this defense. I think they're going to have to at some point drop back and beat this team through the air. And Bo Nix is going to have to pass that test. I don't know that he's shown consistently this year that he's capable of doing that. So I'm worried about Denver's offense in this matchup. And that's really the one side of the ball where I'm truly worried in this game. I trust Denver's defense. I think it's a very good, even matchup against this Packers offense with how they're playing right now. Jordan Love, at the same time, he's a big reason people have doubted this Packers team at times. I think he's doing a great job in the last month, passing those tests and proving people wrong, but it's another big opportunity here against one of the better defenses in the league on the road. So that's really what it comes down to me. Broncos offense, I think, target these DBs. This could be a good Cortland Sutton game. Keyshawn Nixon had the roller coaster of roller coasters last week, 59 and a half horrible minutes of football, showing why he frustrates the hell out of me. Penalties, inability to find the football as a DB, and then nice recovery to get the game-winning interception with their backs against the wall. But I still think you find Keyshawn Nixon, you find these other DBs, and you pepper them with back shoulders and high-pointed jump balls to guys like Cortland Sutton, slants to Pat Bryant if he's able to play. Pat Bryant has not practiced the last couple of weeks with a hamstring injury. I actually think he's the style of receiver that can really give this defense fits, so that's a big one. If he's able to go, he's been playing really well in the last month. The Marvin Mims and Troy Franklins of the world don't scare me as much from this team in this matchup. So I would like to see Pat Bryant, but I go back and forth on who I think wins this one. I initially was thinking Denver, but the more and more I think about it, I think the Packers have become a more trustworthy team. And I think I'm going to go Green Bay this time. I have largely picked against Green Bay in these big games. Detroit, Philly. Last week I did take them to beat Chicago, but I think I'm going to go with the boys this week. Now, before I let you take over, let's let Monty chime in here.
What's he got to say?
Because Monty knows this Broncos team better than I think both of us. Okay. But is concerned with Denver's defensive execution since the bye.
Yes.
I'm also a Vance Joseph doubter. His defense feels brittle. It kills bad teams, but if offenses find a weakness, he can't respond. Also, Pat Bryant likely out. He did chime in with that. It's an observation. I think, Washington certainly had success against this defense. The Raiders last week didn't entirely suck, although it was really just a backdoor cover. Right. I don't know if I fully agree with you on that one. I think it's, this pass rush, they make things very muddy up front. And I mean, definitely Vance Joseph against Matt LaFleur schematically is a big thing to watch in this one for sure. But thank you again, Monty. We love you.
I do have one question to ask, but I do want to say first that I think the Packers are going to win. I simply trust both units right now more than I would say it's like I definitely trust the Packers offense more than I trust the Broncos. And I mean, the Broncos defense, I would say, is a little better. I mean, this team's, there's a really good chance they break the sack record all time. And then of course the Pat Surtain and Talanoa Hufanga is just I mean, he's on another level this year, but
they're a more balanced unit. Green Bay, it's like when they get you in the right game script, they will kill you. But when you can kind of get them retreating a little bit and you can run at them, they have more weaknesses than Denver's defense has.
I do have one question though, and I'm being dead serious. Is there a part of you that knowing, and there are times where I do bust Marcus's balls just having fun, and I'm being serious when I say this. Is there a part of you that you don't want to go into the playoffs winning 8 straight games? You want to get one loss just to, I'm being serious, like one slice of humble pie before that way you're not, I mean, because if you ride into the playoffs 8 straight wins, it is very much, the media's on that. You're Super Bowl or bust. Is there a part, Jordan Love, the age 27 season? I'm being dead serious. Is there a part of you that just wants one quick,
I think they are close enough to their ugly games this year that they still have that. They still have that memory of going to Cleveland. They still remember Carolina coming to Lambeau. They remember a sloppy night against Philadelphia in Lambeau. I think if you're the Packers, it's much better to get that 1 seed, which is it's possible. Well, I mean, Seattle and the Rams have to play each other next week, so one of those teams is going to fall out of your way, and then if you can win out, which they have challenging games, but none of these they're probably going to be favored every week. I would think.
You think you're going to be favored against 9?
Oh man. That one I'm kind of just writing in, knock on, I'm going to regret saying this. That game against the Vikings, I'll remember. Kind of writing that
Monty, you better remember this. Week 18.
Especially because I'm probably going to be at that game. They're not going to let me down. Right. But yeah, they have a shot at the 1 seed. I think that's much more important than, getting the humbling loss out of their way. I think they've already had that experience. I do.
Very fair. All right. I think Green Bay wins, and we do have Colts Seahawks, which is a game. There's some news.
Yes, I can't wait. I really hope Philip Rivers plays, man.
That's what I'm saying. So right now we have Colts Seahawks. Obviously, the big story within this game is Philip Rivers and what exactly he's going to present within this game. And the Colts, I mean, I very much think they are going to miss the playoffs, not just because of Daniel Jones. I was already talking about it last week that, hey, they have a very difficult schedule in front of them. And then we have a 44-year-old Philip Rivers. And look, pretty much what I have here is Philip Rivers is coming off the couch to play the Seahawks and Mike McDonald's defense. And then if he survives, he'll also get to play the Texans defense in week 18. I pretty much have just good luck. Just good luck. I mean, guys, the last time he played, he literally opened his press conference with no Zooms. Hell yes. Because it was COVID. Like it was. So I mean, if anybody is saying, hey, I know how Philip Rivers is going to play this week, I mean, they're lying. Although I think signs point to obviously the fact that he's 44 years old, obviously the fact that they're 2 touchdown underdogs on the road, the fact that he hasn't played an NFL game in 5 years, and Deshaun Watson didn't play a game for nearly 2 years, and he looked absolutely terrible when he first came back for the Browns. I mean, what is 5 years? At least
Philip Rivers cares about football, though.
That's a very fair comment, but what is 5? I mean, but look. Deshaun at 28 versus Philip at 44 or whatever Deshaun was, like, I mean, that's against the Seahawks Mike McDonald defense, like 1 seed potentially on the line for Seattle. For Seattle, I wrote down they've recorded 4 halves where they've scored 30 points or more this year. It leads the NFL. The rest of the NFL only has 6 halves all year. So Seattle is obviously they're favored by 2 touchdowns for a reason. And I actually do have a super chat from Calvin. He said, going to my first ever Seahawks game this Sunday, rain or shine, it's going to be an exciting experience. It definitely will be. I mean, to be able to tell people that, hey, I saw the game Philip Rivers came back when we beat him 41-0. Like, yes, it's going to be something to write home. You guys, Seahawks roll. I mean, come on. Sorry, Colts fans. I really am sorry, Colts fans. And also, by the way, just last thing, DeForest Buckner, I saw some Colts I saw some Colts like writers / Colts, people that are in the know, if you will, in Indy. There's concern that it's not just like pertaining to just this season with his injury.
Yeah, he's been getting beat up.
Yes.
I always worry about those freaky athletes with like long frames.
Yes.
Like it feels like those are the guys that they hit a certain point and their bodies just break down. I do think obviously there's so much uncertainty with this game. I think the most likely outcome is exactly what you said. Seahawks roll. I'm super fascinated because the last time Philip Rivers played was before this entire new wave of defense. This whole
good call.
Surge of Tuchel, Fangio, Mike McDonald defense, the post-snap rotations. Like this could not be the a worst defense to come in after not playing for 5 years. Like you thought you knew football. Like you're in a completely different era, my guy. Like this could be a 5 interception game from Philip Rivers. And by the way, this is the quarterback that I think I'm leaning towards a higher interception prop in this game because this is the quarterback, by the way, that his entire style is to throw with anticipation and let the ball go, thinking he knows what he's getting. I don't think he's going to know what the hell he's getting this week against this defense. I could literally see a 5 interception Philip Rivers game. I actually think the arm might look okay. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think he comes out of retirement if he doesn't think he can still throw the football. So I think the arm might look okay. I think we might get some good throws here. And it's such a good infrastructure for the Colts. I could see some decent offense in this game, but I think there's probably going to be a lot of interceptions. And that's all assuming he plays. I don't think that's official yet, right?
He was activated or he's like on the practice squad, but then it's like Riley Leonard. It's a whole thing, dude.
Yeah.
I would imagine they play him at some point.
Yeah.
I don't think they've actually made a comment. Like they have not been confirmed to make an actual comment.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. Yeah, I really would need DeForest Buckner to play in this game too, because Seahawks offense, they've been able to hide some moments, some turnover worthy stuff, some less than ideal plays from this offense, some less than ideal efficiency compared to what they were earlier in the year. They've been able to hide it behind just elite defensive and special teams games against, teams like the Vikings and the Falcons last week. So if Buckner was able to play, you maybe could make them uncomfortable at times. But yeah, I think the likely outcome is Seattle rolls, but I'm going to stay away from this just because I don't want to bet on that. I would love, Phillip Rivers was one of my favorite players when he was going. I would love to see him, come out, and he's been grinding tape on Sunday nights after the kids go to bed, and he's been planning this comeback, and he's ready for the 2-shell rotations and all that. I would love that, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
I will say one thing about the arm strength is like people like regarding, I mean, he's a former professional athlete for like 15 years. Like it's not like Phillip's going to regress to like Marcus or Level or in eyes, like, athleticism, if you will. Like it's not like he's just, you know what I mean? Like he still has a baseline being a former professional athlete. Like now if you completely like, you gain 100 pounds after your playing days are over, that's a different discussion, but you can see Phillip has not gained like 150 pounds. Like he's still in decent athletic shape. Like you can still see it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
he's going to be fine.
He's been playing pickup ball in the backyard with his 11 kids. Like
he's got his own 7.
He has been playing football. It's just a little bit of a different level.
He's got his own 7.
What's a better defense right now? The 11-man Phillip Rivers kids unit or the Las Vegas Raiders? I think it's probably pretty close.
I mean, Phillip, you got a lot of scrappy players out there, a lot of guys that are going to work hard. First one, I think last one out. Coach's kid.
If you let Max Crosby play with both units, it might not feel too different.
Phillip Rivers, all of his kids are literally coach's kids. Because he's like the high school, like he's, they're literal coach's kids.
They're all the coach's kids. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. That applies. They're high IQ.
Yes.
Yep.
Definitely. If I know anything about Phil Rivers, definitely scrappy.
Yes. And trash talkers. Yes. I love it. I love everything about this, by the way. I hope it doesn't result in a 1-week retirement.
Where are we headed?
It is of all the former Colts quarterbacks to come out of retirement and give this a go. He is probably the second best option. If only this were Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the first place Carolina Panthers visiting the New Orleans Saints. Please, Bryce, I'm begging you, make this a good one. Like we need you. We need you. Panthers fans need you to just don't look, keep playing well. Don't look back. Don't have these hiccup games like you did the last time against the Saints. I'm excited, man. I think this is obviously a winnable game for Carolina, but they got to be careful. They just lost to this team about a month ago. But Bryce has played some really good football since then. And you got T-Mac, you got this run game, you got hopefully good, solid O-line in this matchup. There's no reason for the Panthers to lose this game yet. Does that say 2.5? 2.5 my favorites.
2.5. Yes, sir.
Screw it, man. I'm taking the Panthers this week. Get it freaking done. How do you not show up in this game ready to rock and roll after, the Bucks they open the door for you to come out and execute? I think the Panthers defense is I didn't check. Is JC Horn back from the concussion?
From what I know, from my understanding.
I would hope so. It's been a couple weeks. Concussions are really hard to predict right now. So this guy's missing like 3-4 weeks right now with concussions.
Cleared to play. Cleared to play.
Good.
Confirmed.
Great. Love it. That's a big deal. Because I think Shuck's going to give you some opportunities. He likes to take some chances to the outside. I think he's going to give you some opportunities. JC Horn got in the last time these teams met up. I think it was Chris Olave on the deep ball. JC Horn tripped over his feet, but maybe can JC Horn invite one of those opportunities again and execute? I mean, that's definitely not the story on JC Horn this year, is that play against Chris Olave. It's the perfect example of how corners don't look at just one bad play and talk trash about a player. It's such an impossible position to play. The perfect throw against a great receiver will get you from time to time. But I think we could see JC Horn come back, make an impact. The Panthers defense has some energy about them right now. They still have a huge lack of talent. The pass rush is virtually non-existent, but can you get a turnover or two? I think that would be big in this one. But yeah, the Saints do have a nice thing going on right now. I'm not ready to say this offense is good, but I'm going to stand by it. They have a nice thing going on. Tyler Shuck's playing well. And, they have found Devon Vele, I think, is a very underrated player right now. They have Juwan Johnson is very good in the short to intermediate game as well. So Devin Neal in the mix, my guy, Devin Neal out of Kansas. So they have enough to keep this game interesting. But come on, Carolina, don't keep doing the thing, man. Like, let's go. It's go time. Like, don't disappoint us. I don't think they're going to do it this week. I think they show up.
I do have one thing just regarding the Saints running back situation. Kamara is out. I did see that. So, but no, I'm with you. I think
not to be a jerk, but that's probably best for the Saints at this point. I think you want to get a look at Devin Neal, see if you might have a guy there for next year.
This is everything that I've been talking about with the Panthers since honestly dating back to, I would say, at least probably week 7 area. They beat the Jets 13-6 in a very ugly game. They were 4-3, and then they played the Bills. And I was like, all right, test. Here we go. How are we going to do? They get beat by 30 at home. Then they go to you guys. They beat you guys, and then they come home with a 5-4 record to play the Saints. They don't even put up 180 yards of offense. They lose by double digits at home to, at the time, I think they were 2-8.
Yep.
This is it right here. Like, this is the Bucs.
They had a chance. They had a chance to take first place against the Niners.
First place right now.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
And they, like, that game too, can I just say, like, Bryce had some interceptions in that game. The entire offense just didn't show up. Like, the blocking, the scheme, like the play calling, the drops, the penalties. It's like, when this team doesn't show up, like, it's like shit hits the fan and like nothing's working. So it's a whole team execution preparation type of deal. That sounds like lazy analysis, but that's just what it comes down to with this team. It's like they have it in them. Go freaking do it.
All right, I'm going with the Panthers. I'm hoping they don't do the thing. I'm hoping they don't do the bad thing. I hope they do the good thing. Tyler Shuck, by the way, has looked awesome the past couple weeks. Really happy.
Yep.
All right, Lions Rams. Okay. Game of the week potential here. I just wanted to start off with that. The Lions have 34 points or more in 2 of their last 3 games. Very eager to see how this offense is going to attack the Rams defense, because obviously the Rams defense has been phenomenal all year, or most of the year. And the Lions are coming off of a mini bye. They put up 44 points in week 14 against Dallas. The Rams had a get-right game last week against the Cardinals. That was one of the easiest games to predict, I felt like, of the entire season. Well, what's funny?
No, it's just that game. That game was hilarious. Like,
it was
boat raced them.
They lose to Carolina in week 13, and they just took their anger out on the Cardinals. That was the first 500-yard game of the Matt Stafford era for the Rams. The first 500-yard game they had since 2019, which was when Lions quarterback Jared Goff was, of course, with the team. Where I go in this game is, I mean, you can very much say, hey, look, neither team can lose this game for obvious reasons, because the Lions, I mean, their playoff spots, it's in a tough situation because you have the Bears and Packers both with 9 wins. You have the Rams and Seahawks both with 10 wins, and the 49ers have a favorable schedule, all things considered. So with the Lions remaining schedule, they obviously play at the Rams this week. They play home against the Steelers, at the Vikings, and at the Bears. Now, say what you want, but those final 3 games are not the easiest. They're not, they're not give-me's by any means. I think I'm going to take the Rams to win this game, and then the Lions to win out and then finish the year with an 11-6 record. And then that might not even be enough to get into the postseason at that point. But this is going to be, this is whenever we have Rams Lions, it's one of my favorite games of the year. And I'm going to go with the Rams at home, but I think the Lions win out after this game. So 11-6 finish for the Lions is what I'm predicting.
From a matchup perspective, this game couldn't be any more simple. And the Panthers showed us this. You look at the Rams roster, they've done a great job to improve the run defense, but I still think if you're going to beat the Rams, it is to keep their offense off the field. It is to take a lighter Rams front and just go straight at them. And Detroit is one of the teams that is capable of doing that in the NFL. So if they can come out and smash these guys up front and control the clock, get some explosive Jahmyr Gibbs runs in there, which I think is very capable against you know, the Rams, their defense is built on outliers. Sometimes those are slower players, they're undersized players. The way to get this team is to be the classic, like, get off the bus team and say, oh, this group of 5'9" corners and, a 5'11" nose tackle and the undersized edge rusher that ran a 4.8 that they, Josiah Stewart, they're the team that gets off the bus and says, you can't hang with us. And I think they can do that in this game in such an important matchup. So that's where this game's going to be decided. If the Lions can show up, be the more physical team, and run the football, I think they win this game. I really do. But if the run game's not working, you end up with all of your biggest fears in this matchup with the way these athletes run around up front, confusing this interior offensive line. Braden Fisk is playing really well this year. Kobe Turner, all these guys. And Jared Goff, when he gets that interior pressure, which sometimes it's these edge rushers getting interior pressure with stunts and stuff. Like, you could get a 3 interception game here against his old team. So it is such a simple matchup here. You are going to know in the first 2 drives of this game who's going to win the game. I love this as a live bet type of game. If Detroit comes out and the offensive line's smashing, go jump on Detroit as an underdog here. If they stall the first couple of drives, I'd be much more worried about it. So it's pretty simple for me. I'm actually going to go with Detroit in this one. I really like that matchup. I think this is the ultimate backs against the wall team. And maybe that's a little bit biased there because I think if you're a Packers fan, you are definitely cheering for the Lions this week, because what you want is a Lions win here and then a Rams win against the Seahawks next week. And then obviously you got to beat Denver, but then the 1 seed is yours if you win out. So that's your path most likely if you look ahead at the schedule. But main reason I brought that up is because I did have a super chat from Jonathan that I forgot to mention about 10 minutes ago, but he just says, I have to eat crow. A few weeks ago, I thought you were crazy for saying the Packers were going to take the position. Looks like you were right. Not to rub it in, Jonathan. Thank you for the super chat. Bears are going to be all right. They're heading in the right direction. I'm assuming you're talking about the Bears and not the Lions too, because this could have been about the Lions too. But
I also have one just regarding this game, and the question is does a loss here end the Lions season? I don't think so, because I still think they're going to finish 11-6. And I'll say this: if the Lions lose this game, by the way, what also worries me about the Lions is they are banged up in the secondary. Kirby Joseph is out again, and they've had a lot of injuries in the back end. Obviously, they're playing what I would say is 2 pretty good receivers in Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. But I will say this: if the Lions lose this week, they play the Steelers next week. That's going to be confidence level is 10 out of 10 that they'll win that game, and I'll just leave it at that. Steelers on a short week, but I think the Rams win.
I just did my running backs tier maker video.
Go watch.
Not to plug it, but go watch it. I had Jahmyr Gibbs as the best running back in football. He's and that's someone that questioned the pick, and I've always been a Bijan guy. I mean, I think we're looking at 2 Hall of Fame running backs there out of that draft class.
I love it. Yeah.
He's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And I do kind of worry about slower safeties, slower linebackers losing that angle and this being a Jahmyr Gibbs fest. So
I will say, and I know, Marcus, you are also very level-headed with your draft analysis. You're not going to sit here and scream that Fernando Mendoza is I mean, it's probably a bad player to pick because we talked about him this week. But my point is you're not going to say, hey, Tyler Shuck, generational. Let's, he's Andrew Luck and just, for clicks and the whole thing. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say the Bijan and Gibbs is a generational first round running back class. That is going to be one of the best running backs in the past 20 years.
Yep.
It's up there. It's up there with, not up there yet. Although I think we can't project longevity, but one off the top of my head was AP and Marshawn in 2007. That's where they're headed.
Yeah. Yeah. We had Zeke and Derrick Henry was pretty good.
But Henry wasn't first round. So it's I'm saying you know what I mean? But it's, they are.
And then wasn't there the Christian McCaffrey one was.
That was it was CMC, Fournette, Oh man, there's one more. It was
Joe
CMC.
Mixon was in there.
He was that was
Yeah.
another generational class as a whole, and that's once every 8 to 10 years, which does apply to the G word, which I refer to in the draft process. But it was CMC, Mixon, Fournette, Aaron Jones, the Cowboys, or not the Cowboys, the Packers. There was a second one, Williams, the dude who had like 18 touchdowns for the Lions, Jamal Williams.
Oh yeah, Jamal Williams. Yeah.
Yes. So, and there was a couple more that I'm forgetting, but yes. But all right, are we ready for Vikings Cowboys? Or are you up? You're up. Sorry, you're up.
Yeah, we'll let you finish with that one.
All right, sounds good. There we go.
Yeah, Miami Pittsburgh. This game's interesting. It's not a bad Monday night game. I think especially for the Steelers, like they got to keep the pedal down. Obviously, like Ravens could win this week. This is such a fun matchup. The Steelers struggle with like team speed, runs to the outside, contain lanes, that kind of stuff. And Miami is the premium offense to exploit that. And, I'm just very interested to see how this Steelers defense can handle Devon Achane, who's creeping up towards that elite echelon of running backs. As much as I just praised Jahmyr Gibbs, I don't think Achane is playing that far behind the level Gibbs is playing at. And was Achane in that class? I think he was. Jesus, man. That's crazy.
Was Zach Charbonnet, although I'm a big Charbonnet guy, but yeah.
Between that and Waddle, who's had some really good moments in the second half of the year here, Steelers defense is going to have to show up. And I think they can, but they're going to be tested here. I think this is actually going to be a higher scoring game. TJ Watt is out.
He's out. I'm confirming now to see with Achane.
The Dolphins are such a weird team where at times it doesn't even really matter what your pass rush is. Like their offense is so uniquely crafted that ball's out so quick. Like I guess what I'm trying to say is even if this turns into a drop back passing effort from the Dolphins, I don't care what defense they're facing. I hate their drop back passing game. They can't pass protect. Tua stinks. They have one wide receiver. If you're going to beat the Dolphins, it's all about stopping quick RPOs and swing passes and screens. And TJ Watt can get his hands up and deflect one of those maybe, but I don't think it's really about him. It's about Patrick Queen that I think has had a horrible season. It's about Jalen Ramsey against his old team. How familiar is he with this system? That's a fun little thing to watch. I think that's the key matchup here. Miami's not going to make the playoffs. It's just not going to happen. Even if they win out, it's still like
it's meaningful football though.
It is technically meaningful football. I do think Miami's going to show up. They have shown a lot of fight for Mike McDaniel. I think that whole narrative has been completely put to bed. I think if the question was, is this team going to rally behind Mike McDaniel, this nerd coach? They have. Like that's absolutely been cleared. So for Pittsburgh, I am looking at their offense. Aaron Rodgers played really well last week, man. Best game as a Steeler. First half especially, multiple big-time throws. The pocket presence was incredible. The rollout, rolling left, hits DK Metcalf in perfect stride. The touchdown run. If he's back to being kind of healthy and against a Dolphins defense that they're playing better up front, they are. But I think you can absolutely get these guys with the rushing offense. I think you can throw in these guys. I think this is a higher scoring game. What's the over-under here?
Let's take a look. Let's take a gander at the old sports book. By the way, Achane is expected
41.5. Am I missing something? Is it going to be like
what I have? That is what I have. Yes, 41.5.
Okay, unless it's like a monsoon, which I also want to say, like, I feel like the over-unders go down when the snow.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, because
I think it should go up.
Really?
It benefits the offense for it to be
so.
a snow. Where I would love to. I'm sure Vegas knows what they're doing on that. But,
they do. They don't build those buildings for free.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the old 15205 zip code. That's Pittsburgh, by the way. Shout out for yours.
Yeah, I figured.
You figured. Okay. I mean, it's going to be cold Monday. Low is 16. Winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. This could really be a Devon Achane legacy game.
Yeah. I mean, obviously cold weather Tua stinks, but Tua just stinks, period. So like I just don't think it's about Tua, man. Like I think it's I think this offense has so clearly figured out like what they do, and it's Devon Achane as the engine.
Agree.
Like I don't know that they're in a spot right now where the cold weather is going to impact them as much as it did maybe 2 years ago, where they're actually pushing the ball downfield and, you know, letting Tua try to beat you with his arm a little more. So yeah, I like the over in this game quite a bit. I think this is going to be like 28-24 Steelers.
Okay. I was waiting for the winner. Yep.
Yeah. I think the Steelers take care of it here, but it's probably going to be a frustrating one. I think their defense is going to be like, I think of that busted touchdown they had against the Ravens. Like there could be a couple of those in this where Achane or Waddle or somebody catches a swing pass and there's no one within 30 yards and they walk into the end zone. You're like, what's going on in Pittsburgh? But
I'm going to be honest. I think the Dolphins win. I think Dolphins win. And we did talk about after they, let me pull up the Steelers schedule here. Or I have the Steelers schedule put up. Let me pull up the Dolphins. We did mention a couple of weeks ago that the path for them was there. They obviously they fired Chris Greer whenever they fell to 2-7 after the Thursday night loss to the Ravens. And then they inexplicably beat the Bills by 3 scores. And then we talked about, hey, you know, when they improved to 3-7, that they can beat the Commanders, Saints, and Jets to legitimately play meaningful football to get to 6-7, which is where we are now. And the reason, honestly, why I think the Steelers win is this is so Mike Tomlin, so Steelers to beat the Ravens in Baltimore last week after you get beat 23-0 in the second half against the Bills, and then to come home and then to lose the game against the Dolphins that you should win, if we're being honest. But I really think this is a game where Devon Achane can go for $150 and 2 scores, total yards, by the way, especially with TJ Watt out. And then they play at Detroit next week. They'll probably lose that, fall to 7-8, which would set them up for a perfect opportunity to go into Cleveland, win that game, go 8-8, and then play the Ravens for the division on the line in Week 18, and then win that game to finish 9-8. So projecting the rest of the Steelers games, they lose the next 2, they win the final 2, they go into the wild card round, and I'm not going to project what happens there. But look, they win the division, they finish 9-8, they lose this game though.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me.
You can talk yourself into it. It's all I'm saying. You can, you know,
this has been the most predictable team in the NFL for like
5 years,
6 or 7 years.
Yeah. There we go. 6 or 7 years. There we go. Anyway.
The view. I'm seeing the views go down. I had to farm.
The views got to go up. They got to go up.
We got to crank these numbers up, guys.
We actually just hit 69 likes. So nice. We did, which means, you know, anyway.
And there we go. I just saw like +10 on the viewers.
That's what I'm saying. Saying. Appreciate everybody being here.
Let's get the kids back in here. Come on.
We have.
It's still climbing. Cowboys. It's still climbing.
Is it? There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. We have Vikings Cowboys. We are 6.5 point dogs. Look, we won last week 31-0. I want to be honest. It was nice to sit back on an NFL Sunday and actually enjoy watching my team play and not have to just wait for the memes, the interception, the videos getting clipped, the whole thing. I have to be honest. It was nice. It was nice to just sit back and watch that. Andrew Van Ginkel did the thing. He did the thing. You know, the which was awesome.
The batted pass interception. Is that what you're talking about?
And so I tweeted a picture. There's a picture. It's a photo like 2 inches away from Andrew Van Ginkel's face. It's a meme, and it says, "Lord have mercy, I'm about to gink." And I tweeted the picture. And Van Ginkel's wife reposted it, the tweet that I had of "Lord have mercy, I'm about to gink."
Oh, that's amazing.
It was nice. You know, it was nice. Vibes were high last week. And by the way, like, not to rub salt in the wound, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie, language. We belt ass the Commanders. We kicked the shit out of them. It was 31-0. It was a nice, enjoyable Sunday. But pertaining to this week, Cowboy season's on the line. The Vikings have to have like 9 things go correctly for us to even have a chance to go to the postseason. They have to have the Bears lose out. I think the Lions lose 3 out of their last 4. I think the Panthers and Bucks both have to finish at best 9-8. Look, we're not going to get to the postseason. So I think there's a very real chance that we are eliminated from the playoffs by the time this game starts, because we have to have, like I said, like 10 things go right. So what I wrote down for this game, obviously, how does JJ McCarthy play? Can we keep up with the Cowboys offense? Our corner play is definitely up and down. There's times where Isaiah Rodgers looks really good. There's times where he couldn't tackle me in the open field. Definitely, he could tackle me, but there's times where he struggles tackling NFL players in the open field, and which is it's hit or miss. You never know. And then George Pickens, there could be a play or two where he absolutely bullies Isaiah Rodgers. How will Dallas bounce back is definitely a big one. They gave up 44 points last week. The Cowboys playoff chances. How are they? They're still alive. Do the Eagles lose earlier in the day to the Raiders? I don't think they're going to, but their playoff chances are still alive. So they're obviously going to be playing for something. There's a reason they're favored by 5.5. Dallas has also put up 30 points in 3 of their last 4 games. Quite frankly, I don't think that we can keep up with the Cowboys in this game. I'm going to take Dallas. I'm going to say like 31-21, somewhere in there. There is a real scenario where we get beat by double digits on primetime because our offense doesn't look good. But what I will say is, Matt Eberflus calls a lot of man coverage. I hope that we get at least one really big Justin Jefferson game this year. That's all I'm hoping for. Just give me one really good, 150-yard, 1 touchdown game. If we lose, I don't really care. I just want to see JJ go for 9, $150 and a touchdown. And if we lose 31-24 in a game like that, I'm good. Cowboys win.
I was laughing, if you saw me laughing in the middle of that.
I did.
From Anabolic President. Thank you for the language warning, Garrett. I was about to cover my cat's ears so she couldn't hear your filth.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad. Don't want kids
got to protect the felines.
Exactly.
Cat's ear, not kid's ear.
Yeah, exactly. Football analysis stands with felines.
Make it a shirt.
Bro, I get it. I get passionate about the Vikings. Is all I'm gonna say. I get passionate. But
yeah, big game for Dallas. After this, they got Chargers, Commanders, Giants. 10-6-1 gives you a legitimate chance at sneaking in. I'm excited to see how they play against this defense. I think that's the main thing to watch. I don't think, I don't think McCarthy looks like he did last week, I guess. I think, the Commanders defense is just so bad. I think you're going to be in a bigger test here, but it is an opportunity for him to make some throws. It's not like the Cowboys defense is incredible. But yeah, I gotta go with Dallas here to execute. And, I've liked a lot of what they've done. And I think you have a high IQ quarterback like Dak is the kind of guy that can go toe to toe with Brian Flores, who's kind of cooking right now, man. Do you think he gets the head coaching job this year?
Hopefully not. I hope not. Oh, do I think he can? Yes.
I mean,
it would make a lot of sense.
This coaching pool, it's just so lousy, honestly.
It is.
I think, and there's so many openings, especially if Tampa comes open, Atlanta might come open.
I'm not exaggerating. I have a video coming out. A little spoiler, but I haven't even started yet. But there's anywhere from 6 to maybe 9 or 10 coaching spots that could be open this offseason, because we've already seen 2 fired with Tennessee and New York. And then you go around the NFL, Tampa very easily could. The Falcons very easily could. That's 4. I mean, I don't do this all the time, but yeah, Raiders is 5. Browns could very easily be 6. Let's see here.
Cardinals.
Cardinals. There we go. 7. I was doing the math and I was like, there's definitely room for more. That's 7. There was a couple more. I forget who it was. I'm looking. But you get the point.
Well, you got Harbaugh and Tomlin have been brought up.
There we go. That's what it was. And then Dan Quinn. It was those 2 plus Dan Quinn that could be. Yeah,
I don't think Dan Quinn will get fired. I think it's more of he heads into next year on the hot seat. Right. I think he bought him a bad year from what happened last year. But 9 potentially.
Yes.
And then who are the guys? Who are the candidates you actually feel good about right now? I mean, it's
Clint Kubiak.
It's Shula. It's Minter. It's Flores if he's in the mix. I think there's a reason that our guy Hafley, he's almost like a lock at this point to be a head coach. Yeah, Kubiak is in there, but they've cooled off, and there's been a lot of talk that he doesn't really have the hoorah energy of a head coach. But that's 5, and then it's
you got 4.
There's not really the offensive coordinator this year. There's not really a guy other than Kubiak that's because Joe Brady has not had a great year.
Right.
And Todd Monken hasn't had a great year. Those guys have really cooled off. So I think Brian Dable gets a job. I really do. I think he gets a head coaching job. I think he might be the top offensive head coach candidate out there.
I also think Stefanski will go somewhere else.
He might. I mean, I don't agree with it, but he might. I agree with you. I don't agree with the process.
Right.
Yeah.
But
yep. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
So that will wrap up the Week 15 preview. We're both taking the Cowboys to beat the Vikings to improve to 7-6. And if you guys enjoyed, please like the stream. Helps both of our channels tremendously. Is also very much appreciated. And Until next time, please be safe and have a great day. Love you guys.
Cheers.
Boom, baby.